Right, hey, so back with round two, and the hand's pretty easy keep. It's unclear what I'm gonna do with it. I think my plan is to start by playing with a Bloodstained Mire, fetching Watergrave and Thoughtseizing on turn 2, but that'll depend on what exactly my opponent's doing. Yeah, because the fact that Thoughtseizing is in the fetch line, I mean, I'm essentially starting the game at 17 life, means that I really don't want to shock or probe and start the game at 15. But it's probably fine. I mean, either shocking or probing is probably going to be inevitable at some point. Also, I'm just not going to be able to deploy my spells in a sufficiently timely manner. But yeah, I'd prefer not to do it if possible. Looks like we're playing the Mirror and my opponent has a turn 1 Delver, which is pretty bad for this hand. Okay, turn 1 Serum Visions is much better. So I think I'm actually going, given this start, Steam Vents into Serum Visions, I'm actually going to fetch a Watery Grave and then Thoughtseize on turn 1. So even though I'm just like lava-axing myself, this start indicates he's a combo deck strongly enough that like I want to take a Pyromancer's Ascension if he has one. And shocking here is definitely fine because getting the blue mana is going to save me way more life in the long run than the 2 life I saved this turn. So yeah, so currently that's my plan, just waiting for my opponent to decide what he's doing with his Serum Visions. I think my opponent's probably like pretty like heavily double queued or something, maybe even triple queuing. Because yeah, I was late to this round because I was running errands. But my opponent hadn't even resolved his mulligan yet. So, and then like further, like even after that, I was just waiting a couple of minutes. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying out a new recording software right now, so hopefully that's better. Really don't have much clue what's going on the technological side of things of this. Am I disconnected? I don't think so. It's taking a long time to resolve the Serum Visions. Maybe I'm disconnected? No, okay, so I'm connected. My opponent's still resolving his Serum Visions. What could this mean? It could mean that he's disconnected? That he's playing another game? It'd be strange to play another game. Like, put Serum Visions in the stack and then just, like, play your other game while resolving Serum Visions, but who knows? I don't want to cut the recording because I don't actually know how to, like, I don't actually know how to edit the videos together at the end, as the disconnects in my last set of videos might have evidenced. But ideally, eventually, I'd figure that out. So yeah, I mean, if anyone who happens to be watching this has advice on how to make these videos, I'd be happy to take it. I'm currently using like OBS, so like there's not like tons of options regarding editing or anything. It's just like you just record and there's this output file and maybe you can do something with it in the end. Yeah, I'm kind of running out of things to say. This is kind of why I just don't like probes. I'm thinking about maybe even cutting another probe and going into 2 of them, just because hands like this are kind of awkward. But the synergy that they have with Young Pyromancer and Delver Secrets and all of the Delve cards makes me think 3 is probably the right number. Like, this is like, It's weird to say this about your Taxian Pro, but I think it's just like the classical bad card you have to play to enable all of your good cards. Because otherwise you can't actually have a realistic spell count for Delver. Like even like with the build I'm currently playing, the spell count's even on a little on the low side. I think it's like 27 or 28 spells. Whereas like most people have like 18 lands and like 30ish spells, which is obviously actually like pretty significant when you're just kind of like aggregating flips. What's happening? Maybe he's just like super involved in his other game and just like played a couple. Okay, no, he's actually lost connection. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I do really appreciate the interaction between Delver Secrets and Thought Scour. Like one of the main questions I have about this deck is whether or not you should play Delver Secrets or whether you should just be playing like a more controlling kind of version with more discard spells, more interactive spells, and just more delve creatures, which has the advantage of blanking like Abrupt Decays and Lightning Bolts. But I don't think those cards are truly blank against you anyway. And just because, yeah, getting bolted in the face when your deck is this painful is very, very relevant. And like Delver Secret just has lots of just nice small interactions with a lot of the cards in the deck. Like I think like one aspect of Delver Secret that most people underestimate is it basically lets you scry with all of your fetch lands. It means you, like, granted, if you want to do that, you're going to have to fetch a lot more basics, and you're going to have to like fetch like shock yourself a bit more, and so on and so forth, or like have like fewer options because you fetch a shock land tap during your upkeep. But that's only the case in games where you actually have the Delver Secrets and you actually want the card selection and so on. And when it comes down to it, like it's actually drawing you cards in those cases. Yeah, because I think maybe like one thing people underestimate about Delver Seek is just how powerful knowing the top card of your deck during your upkeep can be. It's like the ability is like obviously like a drawback, but it's not like strictly just like your creature is bad until you get lucky and then your creature is good. It's your creature has this like tangible effect on the game, like up until it's great. So like either it's like this like 1 mana creature with this weird ability that sometimes lets you like draw cards or like in weird spots, like with Thought Scour or with fetch lands, and that's not 0, or it's a 3/2 flyer. And both modes, and like people like properly value just how good the 1 mana 3/2 flyer mode is, but they underestimate like how good the 1 mana like sort of scry every turn is. Especially in decks with like lots of Thought Scours and fetch lands like this one. Yeah, like in Legacy when you get to play like actual cantrips like Brainstorm and what have you, like it's much more of a drawback. And like when you're playing like relatively few lands and your lands are like, and you want to save your fetch lands for Brainstorm and so on, it's like it's much worse. But like in Modern, when games are always just super grindy, you have to play Thought Scours because this is one of the best cantrips in the format, and you're obviously playing like a lot more fetch lands and a lot more lands overall. Like the ability on Delver Secrets is actually like a very real thing. And what is my opponent doing? I don't want to just have he be reconnected and then he just still hasn't resolved his Serum Visions. I don't know. I don't really want this video just to be 10 minutes of me talking about random things. I think the point about Delver Secrets is actually very salient, and maybe I'll upload this just to just make that point available, but maybe with some warning that like there's like a 10-minute period where my opponent cracks a fetch land and tries to resolve with Serum Visions. It's possible just his internet is bad, and I don't know. I'll probably actually just cut this now and just come back when he comes